potentially narcissistic reaction to criticism.
Key narcissistic traits would include a more brittle reaction if you're seen to be put in a bad light.
There's that vulnerability that if I admit that I'm wrong, then my whole house of cards will come crashing down.
For Meghan, after leaving the royal family, there was one narrative that she seemed determined to correct.
Simple bridesmaids' dresses, beautiful flowers.
Meghan and Harry's wedding was a display of royal family unity, but it would later emerge that this hid disharmony. Six months after her wedding, the press published stories about an argument between Meghan and her sister-in-law, Princess Catherine.
It probably showed to her that the media were not on her side. It probably showed to her that the media were not on her side. I could imagine that she probably felt like she was being crushed from all sides, you know. So I imagine that she was very, very keen to address that.
And it was in her interview with Oprah that Meghan chose to address the issue.
You say the narrative with Kate, it didn't happen. So specifically, did you make Kate cry?
No. No.
So where did that come from? Was there a situation where she might have cried or she could have cried?
No, the reverse happened.
Oh, so we're supposed to believe the gladiator cried. Uh-huh. And it's not even a convincing lie. No, actually the reverse happened. Yeah, uh-huh.
What I remember being surprised by was the fact that years later, what Meghan wanted was to set the record straight about who had made whom cry. Had Kate made...
This whole thing is about Meghan setting the record straight. I don't know, have you noticed anything subliminal yet? I mean, I'm just missing it. Let me know.
Made her cry? Had she made Kate cry?
I guess we'll never know the truth. But
that wasn't the real controversy. The real controversy is who's the surrogate and why is she pretending to be pregnant? Oh no, she's gonna make it about Kate crying. Okay, yeah, nobody really gave that much crap about that one.
certainly Meghan wanted to take control of her narrative. So,
you know, there's little gems of truth in this, like the fact that she wanted a position of importance. She's just an actress acting in this whole thing. She's a narcissist. She wouldn't do any sacrifice or duty, which is what it was. Her real job at the royal family was, and she couldn't hack it or didn't want to do it. She's selfish. And yeah, so there's little, and she wants to control the narrative. Oh yes, oh yes, we know that. I mean, this whole thing is about that. So it's like there's little gems of truth in here that where you're like, oh, okay, they're being honest, but then they go off and claim that, you know, oh no, she's not a bully. She's just a gladiator and the crap here.
Where better to get her points across than within one of the most talked about interviews in the world.
It's my observation that the focus can be about making sure that she is not criticized. There is something about her tendency to focus on how does this look for me? How does this impact me?
But was this desire to control her image about to do Meghan more harm than good?
I see this putting on a brave face and masking depression all of the time.
There's only so much pressure that any of us can take.
So yeah, you can say this is all propaganda because, you know, none of these so-called psychologists have spoken to Meghan directly. They're not asking her questions. They're simply regurgitating Hillary Clinton and the Biden regime. and an Oprah interview. So in that way, this is very, very political. So maybe that's some of the subliminal stuff she's referring to. And this is just nothing but a propaganda piece for sure.
Meghan Markle has lived her adult life under the spotlight of public opinion.
We've seen her be incredibly successful as an actress, that she has
Lie.
found all sorts of ways to command attention from others.
Please welcome Meghan and Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Meghan has spoken publicly about her own tendency for people-pleasing and also about her drive to succeed.
I was probably a lot like each of you, young.
And they keep repeating that she's a people pleaser. She's a people pleaser. No, she's not. She hasn't pleased anyone. She's a bully and a narcissist who hogs the stage and microphone whenever she can. And of course, she is the globalist, one young leader thing.
Ambitious, advocating for the things I deeply and profoundly believed in. And also looking around and wondering, how on earth did I get here?
I think she's a people pleaser. She needs people to like her.
This is like the fourth time they've called her a people pleaser. I think she's a people pleaser. People pleasing gladiator.
Accept her. And I think that drive and that ambition and that desperate need to be validated is really important for her.
Thank you.
I think this probably comes and this stems from stuff further and further back in her life. And I think that she learned from a very early age.
And they're only showing pictures of her with Doria. You don't see Thomas Markle, even though he's the one that allegedly raised her, if they're an actual family, which I know is up for debate.
That, she's number one as far as she's concerned.
In your early years, you only know your immediate caregivers, your very small surroundings. They shape us. They shape how we see the world.
When Meghan was 2 years old, her parents' marriage broke down. She would grow up living between her mother and father's home. A childhood poem she'd later read out on her Netflix series revealed her feelings.
I want to live that nuclear life with a happy dad and his loving wife, a picket fence, a shaggy dog, a fireplace with a burning log. But it's not real, it's just a dream. I cannot cry or even scream. So here I sit with cat number 3. Life would be easy if there were 2 of me.
It's a really emotional poem. It's really heartfelt, isn't it?
So these psychologists are analyzing Netflix propaganda.
It's interesting saying about I would like to scream, whether she was able to tell people, whether she felt it was okay to tell people how she felt about having 2 homes, how secure she felt.
Children want more than anything to feel valued, connected, and validated by their parents. And, when parents break up, unfortunately, that can really disrupt your sense of security. And divorce is one of the biggest traumas in childhood.
There's research to indicate that if you are somebody who perhaps hasn't had the kind of attention that you need, or you've maybe had some inconsistent parenting, inconsistencies in terms of affection that you've had, sometimes we might look for that in other places. And one place that we might be able to get that is in feedback from others. And one place to get really good feedback from others is when you're in the public eye.
Meghan would have her first taste of fame at the age of 11 when her actions as a young activist were featured on Nick.
Oh my God, we gotta hear about the letter again?
News.
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with Ivory Clear.
When we first saw the commercial, I knew something would be done because I was furious.
She was a snotty, ugly kid then, and she is now.
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans.
And I said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that? I think I'll write a letter.
When I looked at that clip, I saw a young woman who...
And just as an aside, Meghan was writing her letters all her fake letters that she writes to herself. She's continuing that. Before she did the Drew Barrymore show, she allegedly got a letter from Harry and the kids saying how wonderful she is. And then before that fake interview she did with that billionaire who's, in my opinion, just another Satanist and got backing from the globalists to become a billionaire in 8 years because of selling makeup on QVC. But anyways, what's that point is, yeah, Meghan got another letter. I got this letter. Oh, let's read it. Oh, Archie and Harry say how great I am. Oh, you know, she's always writing letters, these damn letters. And of course, you forget the letter to Daddy. So for some reason, letters and letter writing and her fall calligraphy is something she's pushing. I don't really know why. Some subliminal thing there. I don't know.
Who seems self-assured, who feels confident on camera. And actually, many of those mannerisms that I saw in Meghan as a child, I still see today.
Truth be told,
mannerisms of her as a child. You saw one video clip, edited video clip, and the psychologist is really going to analyze, oh, she's just like in her childhood. Yeah.
11, I don't even think I really knew what sexism meant. I just knew that something struck me internally. No one was telling me that it was wrong, but I knew that it was wrong. At that age, I was able to actually change this commercial.
If you're an 11-year-old and then suddenly somebody in your class is on Nick News, that's kind of a big deal. You know, you've been able to change the world. And so she had a sense that she was powerful, and that will have likely continued in her.
Is that the ugliest picture you've ever seen? She literally looks like a clown there. And that is, it's like that they're trolling us with this picture. And she literally looks like the crown, like Christy the Crown there. I mean, it's so grotesque anyways.
Her life.
What I have to say is quite important, and I think the world probably wants to know what I think about things.
No, actually the world doesn't.
I think Meghan has been brilliantly served by an aspect of that endeavor, of that perseverance. She has all of the skills that she needs to look after herself and get on.
So sometimes when we begin to get adoration from people, we release dopamine, we want more of that, and it becomes a little bit like a vicious circle where you want more and more and more of that.
In 2014, Meghan launched a lifestyle blog called The Tig. It was an early example.
And somewhere someone mentioned TIG stands for the Invictus Games, which I totally believe. And it was never a lifestyle blog. Nobody even heard of it.
Example of Meghan taking control of her own image.
So when it comes to the TIG, I really think online influencing is really her genuine happy place where she feels her most secure. From a psychological point of view, I think it's the fact that it bolsters her sense of self.
Meghan promotes.
Yeah, she's all about online influencing, that we know, and then she turns around and tries to censor people for being too toxic online. She's the queen of online influencing with her crappy videos and propaganda.
The TIG in this aspirational video, seeming to portray a perfect version of herself.
Now we're at my favorite restaurant, the Harvard Room. Matter of fact, I had my birthday party here last summer in the back patio with my castmates from Suits. Thanks for hanging out with me today. You got to see all of my favorite places in Toronto. It's been so much fun. If you want to find out more of my favorite places, check out thetig.com. Bye, guys. Thanks.
You can really see that she's been laying the foundations of her brand for a long time. This is just how celebrity operates these days.
It's impression.
And there's definitely something with that hat and these fake videos and fake interviews that she did to make it seem like she was some big star, even though no one has ever heard of her before. Yeah, I mean, this is all CIA programming.
Management. She would rather present us with quite a well-rehearsed, smiling Meghan.
You know, if you're any other type of celebrity, you want to be seen as a certain thing. You probably want to think about, how do I want to be perceived? What are my values? What do people think of when they see me?
But could Meghan's desire to control her image so carefully be destructive? And what could it be hiding?
She likes to be in control. And the problem with being performative is that it strips away genuine vulnerability and to that extent also authenticity.
There's something that's so engineered that I suppose the problem is it leads us to question what else is engineered.
I guess the question still lingers for me too, you know, is this a mask? Is this something that feels genuine?
In psychology, masking means hiding your authentic self or suppressing your true emotions to gain social acceptance.
So masking is something that all of us are likely to do, probably many times a day.
We are constantly wearing different masks. It speaks to what we feel like is needed, how we need to armor ourselves to survive the world that we're in.
So when I work with clients, what we see is what's kind of quite functional masking. But sometimes we see it tips the balance and people don't ever feel like it's okay to be themselves.
So did psychological masking lie behind events in January 2019?
To welcome the Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
6 months pregnant, Meghan and Harry attended the premiere of a Cirque du Soleil performance at the Royal Albert Hall.
What we know is that when the stakes are high and when it matters to us and to those around us, we can be incredibly adept at masking.
Is it just me or she looks like she's on a stage? I just got to go back a little bit. This looks like stage prop to me in the background of this woman. I mean, they're supposedly hearing some psychologists in their office or something. And that just looks like a stage setup to me. She's got the curtain in the background. Who has a curtain hanging on their wall, right? I mean, this woman is on stage, literally. She's probably another actress, in my opinion.
Incredibly adept at masking. We might be hiding our inner turmoil.
This smile hid an unfolding psychological crisis, as Meghan would later reveal.
And how do they know that this smile is hiding a crisis? She's still pushing the lie about being depressed. She's not letting it go. Every single lie she is doggedly pushing with her CIA buddies.
In her emotional interview with Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, because the actress couldn't be lying on Oprah interview. And by the way, I have that clip from that interview she gave, this supposed interview. That was a setup where the interviewer said, "You're such a good crier. You cry so much on Suits." She's like, "I know, I cry so much." She's like, Meghan is known for being the best crier, one tear left eye. That's her pride in her acting, that's her best skill, which I think is partly why she was hired to do this job with Harry. And so here we go, another nauseating clip from the actress.
But we had to go to this event, and I remember him saying, "I don't think you can go." And I said, "I can't be left alone."
Because you were afraid of what you might do to yourself?
And we went, and
I'm so sorry to hear that.
In my research with high-functioning depression, I see this putting on a brave face and masking depression all of the time. You know, masking helps you initially. It helps you to feel as if maybe you're not burdening others. But over time, it could really wear on you because no one has any idea how bad it is. And so masks.
I think she's addressing the mask slips. You know, there's so many videos out there. Meghan drops the mask, and now Meghan's trying to turn it into, no, it was just something I did because I was so depressed, you know, suffering. And as these quote unquote psychologists are pointing out, oh yeah, it happens all the time when people are depressed. They wear a mask. So you see, she's addressing the masking as well.
Masking depression will hurt you in the long run, and it did hurt her. Will hurt you in the long run, and it did hurt her.
The cumulative effect of this amount of pressure means that you...
See, I think she is definitely on a stage. That's what it looks like to me. Look at that background. I mean, it's color coordinated to her outfit. I mean, it's like so over the top.
You might be able to keep doing it for a finite period of time, but there's only so much pressure that any of us can take